Am I wrong for being a bridesman to a close friend at her wedding even though my girlfriend was asked not to come? A very close friend of mine since college got married recently, and she and I have been friends since freshman year of college. Since we work in the same field in the same city, we've remained pretty close, and let's just call her Tina. I started dating my girlfriend Alex a year and a half ago, and let's just say they do not get along. I can't pinpoint exactly why they don't. Alex always says that she doesn't like Tina, and Tina typically is just responding to Alex's energy. While I don't try to get them to be besties, I do want them to get along because they both are important to me. So when Tina got engaged and told me she wanted me to be in her wedding, which I was so excited to do, it was difficult. Tina told me she wasn't fully comfortable with Alex coming, which does make sense because they don't like each other. However, I personally didn't feel like I had a dog in this fight. Their beef is theirs and not mine. Their beef is theirs, not mine, so I don't see why I should be limited in my relationships with either of them. I told Alex I wanted to go and she was apprehensive. She said that if Tina didn't want her to go, she didn't think I should go. I said I didn't think it was fair for her to say that, and this was a huge event for Tina. She wants me there. And for that reason, because she is also important to me, I want to be there. I also mentioned that Alex does have some friends that I don't get along with, but I never stop her from seeing them. Alex eventually relented and said she doesn't care if I go or not. Well, months go by and the wedding finally happens and Tina's wedding comes up. At this point, it's too late for me to just quit last minute, and Alex says she doesn't want me to go. This is like a week out of the wedding, and I told her I couldn't flake out last minute. I went to the wedding and had fun, but now Alex is mad.
My ex-husband passed away. I'm to inherit everything, and his girlfriend that he left me for is trying to contest his will. I feel terrible, and I don't know if I'm entitled to his money, but I can't deny that I'm tempted. Not only because it was his wish, but also because I don't want to say no to this amount of money, around 1.3 million euros. My ex-husband, 48 male, came to me, 44 female, one day and told me that he was leaving me. This was about 8 years ago, and I was 4 months pregnant with our first child. I can't describe the hurt and confusion I was feeling. He didn't give me any reason. I thought we were soulmates. We were married for 10 years. I didn't see it coming at all. I tried to reason with him, but he was decided, and he moved out within a week. A week later, his lawyer sent me a letter to move from the apartment. I found out a couple of weeks later that he had met someone, 33 female, and that's why he was divorcing me and buying me out of the apartment. He never spoke to me until I had a late miscarriage 2 months after. Not blaming him. He texted me that he wanted to see me and talk. I didn't reply. He tried to reach out a few more times, but I never answered him. When I met my current husband, 42 male, he stopped trying to contact me. I'm now happily married with 2 children, 5 female and 3 male. About 6 months after I heard he was terminally ill, I felt sad for him, but of course I refused to go and see him as his last wish. This haunts me now that I know he's gone. His parents tried to get me to visit him, but I refused. What do you say to someone who hurt you this bad after all these years? Does him dying make it less hurtful? Does it make me forget my resentment? I didn't want to find out. Now, his will stated that I'm getting the majority of his estate. His parents got a generous amount of money for their retirement, and his nephews get money for college. But other than that, I get everything else, including the apartment. He had a letter where he told me he was sorry about everything. He never stopped loving me or thinking of me. In his mind, I was still his wife. He never got over the loss of our baby and felt responsible for it. He seemed really remorseful, and he seemed to have followed my life closely. He knew about my husband, my children, their names, my current job. I appreciate the letter, but it made me feel so guilty that I didn't give him his last wish. My ex-in-laws are now asking me to be fair and share the inheritance with his girlfriend, or she would be on the street. Since she met him, she had dropped out of college and never worked a day in her life, and she has nothing to her name. The girlfriend is threatening to contest the will and says that I have used and abused him and his trust. I have manipulated him into giving me everything, and she won't leave her home. I don't know what to do. I don't feel that she's entitled to my money, and even if her existence doesn't hurt me anymore, I still hate her. She's 33. I don't feel that I have any obligation to provide for her. Also, isn't it disrespectful to go against my ex-husband's wishes? I'm just gonna say it. I feel like if the in-laws don't want her out on the street, maybe they should help her. I don't think you're the asshole, honestly. He hurt you. He kicked you out of your home. Yeah, he bought you out, but nobody knows what kind of a place you were in, and then you lost a baby. That is so traumatic, and I'm so sorry for your loss. that doesn't give them the right to try and take something away. He felt guilty and he wanted to ease some of that guilt by being able to know that you're comfortable. It sucks that he didn't leave her anything, but realistically, he probably knew she was only with him for the money. She dropped out of college. She hasn't worked. He knew that money was going to be better off with you than with her. Am I the asshole for suing my ex? So I dated a YouTuber. We went out for about a year and it was all right, but they were so emotionally invested in their channel that they constantly neglected me and made me feel like I wasn't a priority. But really not important why we broke up. But we broke up. Then I get a bunch of messages from friends about 3 months later telling me to go to their channel. I'm pretty much done with them, but I do. And I realized they made a video about me where they're claiming I was emotionally abusive. I continue to get messages from strangers telling me how awful a person I was and how they hoped I would through various means. So I sued my ex. It ruined them. They were financially in a bad spot and they couldn't afford court fees, but the case dragged. They made a video about not being able to afford court costs and such and how it was going to ruin them. After a bunch of friends started telling me to just let it go and move on, but I had sunk money into the case as well. It wasn't cheap for me either, so I didn't just let it go. Eventually, the judge ruled in my favor and I received a total of nothing from my ex. But it means I can link the results in the comment section to every video she tried to frame me as the bad guy, because in our state, court proceedings are public record. Suddenly, her viewership dropped and she blamed me for ruining her life. A bunch of my friends said I went too far and should have just taken the court win and left her alone. Was I the asshole? No. Oh, hell no. I would drop those friends too that said that I took it too far. How did I take it too far if you're going to go online and talk shit about me? She had no right to talk about me or about situations that weren't hers. She discredits actual who are going through this. And that is so fucking slimy to me.
Am I in the wrong for retiring and moving to South America like every single person in my family knew that I planned to do since I was 16? I, male 55, just pulled the pin on my retirement. I put in 33 years of work and I'm done. I bought property in South America 12 years ago and I have been building our retirement home down there. I have dual citizenship so I can own property without it being a hassle. The house was designed to be perfect for us. A small house for the caretaker and gardener and 34 different fruit trees. The bathroom is up to North American standards and the shower has grab bars and stuff already built in for when I'm old. Everything's on one level so there's no stairs. My wife helped by making suggestions to the design of the house and by taking care of decorating it. We've been vacationing there for 8 years now and renting it out when we aren't there for some extra money. We have hosted friends and family there both with us and on their own. My wife has now decided that she doesn't want to live there for 7 months of the year. We have grandkids now and she wants to be more involved with their lives. I love my kids and grandkids and my parents who also live up here. But I am done with winter. If I never see snow again, it'll be too soon. The house has guest rooms and flights are cheap. If they want to see me in the winter, they're welcome to come down. Plus, I'll be back in 5 months for the summer to do some contract work. My wife said that she didn't want to go down there this winter. And that's absolutely her right. I booked my flight for September and she asked me about the expense on the credit card. I said I was leaving for the winter like I had told everyone that I was planning to do. This is when she said that she didn't want to go this winter. Actually meant she didn't want us to go this winter. I said I was going and that I would see her in the spring unless she changed her mind and came down. Now her, my parents, and my kids are bugging me about leaving her alone for the winter, but it's 100% her choice. So am I in the wrong?
My boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend, so now I'm facing jail time. Story time. So I recently found out my boyfriend of 3 years has been sleeping with my best friend, Amy. And I found it all out because my boyfriend, Steve, went up to the bathroom this one time and he got a text message from settings. Whose settings are texting them? Do you know what I mean? I obviously thought that this was so suspicious and I knew Steve's password, so I went on his phone and what I found made me feel ill. They had been sending each other pics for months. So when he came back from the bathroom, I decided that I wasn't going to confront him about it then and there. I had bigger plans. Looking back, I don't know how I didn't see the signs. They were literally always super friendly with each other. One time, Steve even went to the cinema with Amy and all of her friends, which is bizarre. Why wasn't I invited? So I came to the conclusion that Amy was in fact an arsehole and I started plotting my revenge plan. I live in the countryside, I live near a river and there are lots of leeches in this river and this gave me the perfect idea. I played that I didn't know anything for 2 weeks. Do you know how hard that was? So whilst I knew for a fact that they were with each other, I was gathering all of these leeches. Let me tell you, that shit is not easy. In the end, I gathered about 50 of the little fuckers. So 2 days ago, I called Amy and asked her if she wanted to hang out. Because the weather's been really nice, I was like, well, why don't we go in your mum and dad's hot tub? And the plan was set. So I got there and it was actually really nice. For a short period, I actually forgot what had been going on. So I asked Amy if she could grab a couple more drinks for us. And as soon as she got out, I grabbed my bag. That was when I dumped the jar full of leeches straight into the hot tub. When Amy came back with the drinks, I was like, I'm a little bit hot, so I'm going to stay out for a second, but you jump straight in. She didn't feel the leeches at first, but as soon as she did, she freaked out. And it was genuinely quite hilarious. Then got out the hot tub so quick that she slipped. And while she was on the floor, I leant over the top of her and said, that was for sleeping with Steve. Oh, and speaking of Steve, don't worry, I didn't let him off scot-free. So I made a few calls and I disabled the brakes on his car. Oopsies.
Today I messed up by giving my girlfriend pepper spray that I no longer needed. The actual gift of giving happened about a month ago. I used to work for Uber part-time and would carry pepper spray on me to deal with crazies when and if the time would ever arise that I needed to. After I quit, I felt like I no longer needed it and gifted it to my girlfriend. She got extremely excited by this gift. I'm not sure why she was so excited, but she felt like this extreme empowerment by having it. Like she was invincible or something. As soon as she got it, she was outside testing it by spraying it on the ground, which I told her to test it, to make sure that it works. It says so directly on it. I had never done it myself. She used it twice and danced with glee, and then we went back inside and that was that. Over the next course of the month, she kept that thing on her like it was her only lifeline in the world. I was honestly kind of flattered that she loved my little $20 gift so much. It comes with a breakaway attachment to a keychain that she fixed to her keys. We went downtown and some guy approached her when I was in the bathroom, and when I came outside, she's pointing it in his face like she's ready to end his retina's existence. It was extremely comical, until it wasn't. Alright, so last weekend, we're in the car and we have some friends with us. My girlfriend's in the passenger seat, my friend directly behind her, his girlfriend next to him in the center, and some guy that was introduced to us by my friend, let's call him Steve, directly behind me. We were on our way to an event downtown, and the guy Steve has a pretty big personality. You know, the type of guy that likes to put other people down to make himself feel better, or laugh at other people's expense. Well, my girlfriend has a bit of an explosive personality, and while she wasn't the target of his banter, she sure as shit wouldn't put up with it. I was the target, and while I won't go into too much detail of what was said, it was enough to set her off and pull out that handy dandy pepper spray I gifted her and set that shit off in his face. Well, fuck. We're in a car on the freeway, windows rolled up, and pepper spray going off adjacently behind me. I appreciate her attempt to white knight for me, but when I tell you everyone in the car was a victim, including herself, to the sheer magnitude of the stinging pain in my eyes. They immediately closed and I swerved off to the side of the divider. Luckily, I only grazed the divider wall, but we were all immediately out of the car, screaming, gasping, wiping our eyes. When I finally looked over at Steve, he was vomiting, and it literally looked like she dumped the can on his face. She's never getting a weapon again.
My sister's in love with my fiancé. Story time. Me and my fiancé Steve are getting married in 3 months. So it all started because mine and Steve's family had actually never met before. But we threw a little family get together with both families so everyone could become friends and get to know each other. It was going to be great, so we thought. So this is why, even though me and Steve have been together for years, my sister Amy has never met Steve. And I'm a very private person, so I don't really post pictures of me and Steve on the internet either. So Amy literally had no idea what Steve looked like, what he was like, anything. The day comes and everybody is at the restaurant. We are all getting on really well, and my sister Amy was late because she had work. So when Amy entered, I was there to greet her with a big hug, as normal, you know, big sis vibes. She, on the other hand, was not very happy to see me. She walked in, took one look around the table and started screaming at me. She was like, how could you do this to me? It was, honestly, it was so dramatic. I looked at mum looked confused. Then I looked at my dad, and my dad just rolled his eyes. Amy has literally always been the drama queen in the family. This girl threw a full-blown temper tantrum in the middle of this restaurant. My mum literally manhandled this girl to the toilet to get her out. Steve's family were just, bless them, they had no clue what was going on. They just didn't say anything. So the dinner continued, but let me tell you, it was so awkward afterwards. So when I got home, I was looking at my phone and I literally had hundreds of texts from Amy. She was like, you need to call off this wedding. I've been in love with Steve for years. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know they knew each other. So I was like, oh, Steve, like, what do you know about this? And he was just saying how he had no clue how Amy had come up with any of this. But the next day, my mum came round to tell me what had happened. I had no clue. I was like, please, dear, shed some light on this situation. And I tell you, you aren't ready, buckle in. Oh, many years ago, Steve worked in a bowling alley. And this is where Amy first saw Steve. Oh my God, this powder is so bright. And she claims that it was love at first sight between the two of them. This was 5 years ago, and she said that she knew that Steve was older than her, so she was waiting until she was 21 to make the first move on it. Babe, it's giving Delulu. This girl is literally convinced that she had a chance with Steve. She keeps texting me saying how I need to break up with her boyfriend, and she's even said that if I don't end up breaking up with Steve, she will make it her mission to ruin our wedding. And now I literally have no freaking clue what to do, so please tell me.
Am I wrong for being in my undies around my boyfriend's brother? I, 20 female, have been with my boyfriend for 3 months. He's my first serious boyfriend, and I just started staying at his apartment recently for overnights. Now, I live at home with my family still, and we're very open. I walk around in a shirt and underwear a majority of the time, and it's not an all-girls household. I have a dad and 2 brothers ages 17 and 14, and I also did it growing up. And if a guest stopped by unannounced growing up, so be it. They'd see us in our bedwear. As you could imagine, I did this at my boyfriend's apartment when it was just the two of us, which he loved. But 2 days ago, his brother stopped by and I came out of the shower in a t-shirt and cheekies. When my boyfriend saw me, he immediately whispered to me to put some pants on, which I did. But when he left, my boyfriend asked me if I was trying to seduce his brother. I told him I meant nothing by it and also do it at home. Now it's been 3 days and he hasn't asked me to sleep over again. Am I wrong?
Today I fucked up by helping a woman jumpstart her car. The other day I got home late at 11:30 p.m., exhausted after a work meeting, and I just couldn't find a parking spot near the building whatsoever. At some point after circling hopelessly around the building and at nearby streets, I saw a woman sitting in her car parked, and I couldn't tell whether she's about to leave or just got in. So I asked her, and she said, "I need to go out, but I just can't start up my car. Would you please help me?" So of course I said yes. I needed the parking spot, also why not be nice? She said that she had forgotten the light is on or something, and the battery died, so she needed a jump start. Now the problem was that the front of her car was not easily accessible since she parked between two other cars perpendicular to a wall, and the space between the cars and the wall was very narrow. I had an idea on my mind to have her put the car on neutral and let it slide backwards, but for some reason she managed to convince me that there's enough room for my car to go in the narrow space to get close to the front of her car and attach the jumper cables. So I was stupid enough to trust her, and she started instructing me how to go in. I just listened to her and did as she instructed. And she was like, go on, you have plenty of space." Needless to say, I ended up scratching the wall and leaving damage on my car and definitely couldn't reach her car. Since it was too dark and I was too exhausted, I couldn't tell how bad it was until the next morning. At the end, we reverted back to my method, pushed her car backwards, and blocked the one-lane street, which made other drivers mad, and I helped her jumpstart the battery. She went off and I took the parking spot. Now I gotta fix up my car because I tried to help a stranger. But hey, I got the parking spot. Today I fucked up by telling a major client it's nice to see their face hole. Obligatory, this happened this morning. A little background. I'm a pizza delivery driver, and once a month this client orders like 100 small pizzas for their staff. We've been doing this for well over 2 years, so for the better part of that, we've all had to wear face masks. Mandates were lifted in my area last month, but they held out a bit longer, so the last time I saw them, we still had to wear face masks inside their facility. Today, there were no masks, and I meant to say it was nice to see their whole face, but it came out backwards. We laughed it off, but I'm genuinely embarrassed right now.
Here are just crazy things that I do to all of my best friends. My friends are my family, so they get like the most pure, raw, real version of me. They also see like the crazy side of me too, like the OCD story times you hear about, they have to fucking live it. Just like, these are just random crazy things I do to them. Number one, and I'm so passionate about this, anytime they come to my home, I will sage them. With a whack-ass motherfucker, I will sage their... You think I'm kidding? No, I fully do that to them. Here's the thing, I'm like, ugh, if I just like feel their energy off or anything like that, I'm like, saging, we're getting rid of bad energy, I'm doing that. And then you're like, wait, why are you saging their pussies? And it's like, my friends love to fuck the whack-ass motherfucker. Just like you bitches like to fuck whack-ass motherfuckers, so do my friends. And occasionally I do it too, whatever. We all have our bad days. I saw an article, not an article, I saw a TikTok, me thinking I read, but I do love a good Colleen Hoover. I saw a TikTok a while ago that was like, if you have sexual trauma or anything like that, or like you just want the energy of the person that you recently slept with out of your system, sage your bodysicity. I don't like, you don't go in it, whatever. But with my friends, like after a breakup or they're done talking to a man, they're getting their bodysicity saged, and they love it, okay? They love it. This next thing I do is kind of, it's just embarrassing, but I'm gonna fucking own it. I am a straight psychopath about my birthday. Like, you guys, it's not even funny anymore, and I don't know why. What part of me is just like, my birthday's a national holiday, but like, I'm a psycho about my birthday. Just in the sense that like, I just want everybody together and I just want all my favorite people in one room, and it brings out the worst in me, and I don't know why. Like, I get genuinely hurt if like a friend doesn't come to my birthday. And I love to do the most for my birthday. I love to do like extravagant things, and I want my friends to do those extravagant things with me, so like whatever it takes. But like, if my friends, and they hear about my birthday for like months beforehand. I started planning my birthday in December of last year. My birthday's in June, bitch. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And they have to like sit and hear all about my birthday planning. I'm like, did you book your tickets? Did you book your tickets? And they're like, bitch, it is April, relax. I'm just like insane about it. I was texting my best friend the other day and she was like, I'm telling my parents about you. I'm like, oh my god, like what did you say? Like there's so many attributes about me that you could say about me. Bitch was like, I told them that you make TikToks, like you're the funniest person ever and that you weirdly love your birthday. I'm like, bitch, that is what you look at me as? Like I make TikToks and I just love my birthday. I was like, okay, something has to change. Like I need to change a little bit, but I don't think I will. Another weird thing I do to all my best friends, I make them play first impressions. What that is first impressions to just like, okay, so what was your first impression of me when you met me? The thing is, it's like I do this at least once a month to friends I've been I do this to Sissy, my own sister. Go to part 2. But I will dead ass be like to all my friends like, okay, so what was your first impression of me? And it's gotten to the point they're like, Livy, we played this twice last month. Like and they tell me the same answer every time because obviously their impressions are not changing. But I'm like, let's play first impressions. Let's play it. Or I do the, if someone had told you a year ago that we would be here right now, would you believe them? Like, would you believe them? They're like, yeah, sure, I guess. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's just fucking nuts of us. I also text them, like, the most out-of-pocket shit at all times. It'll be, like, a Tuesday at 9 a.m. And I'm like, remember when he put... And they're like, dear God, Livy, it's like 5 a.m. I just had a meeting with my boss and you want to text me that? But like whatever thought I have that comes to my mind, my friends are getting that text immediately. So anytime I end things with a man, we call it a breakup. Like I could have hung out with someone one time and I'll be like, you guys, I'm going through my breakup. Like we just call it my breakup. By we, I do mean me, but now they're like, okay, Livy's like, she's going through a breakup. And it's just like, I'll text them and I'll be like, I'm just really sad about my breakup. And they're like, Livy, you hung out one time. Like, what are you talking about? They've learned to be more sympathetic. They've learned to just like go with the shenanigans of like the breakup. They'll be like, how's the breakup? I'm like, it's good. A week later, I'll be like, the breakup's over. They're like, fucking good, because you only knew that man for like a month, Livy, so let it go. Now I have them calling it a breakup. Like they will be like, well, I'm going through a breakup. And I'm like, you did 2 dates. They're like, it's still a breakup. Like, you know what? And that's so fucking valid. Like if you even spend even a little bit of time with somebody and you're ending things, it's a breakup, treat it as such. I don't care. I don't make the rules. Yes, I do. I love to also make them uncomfortable at times and just be like, do you think my dad thinks of me? It's like, you know, I don't have a dad. And they're like, Livy, no, he's literally not thinking of you. I'm like, I know. But like, isn't that kind of funny? So I also love to tell them just like little random lies, like the most insane random lies. Like, oh my God, like Drake DM'd me and he like wants me to meet him at like Make Believe. Guys, can you believe that? They're like, oh my God. I'm like, you guys, why the fuck would Drake DM me and be like, come to Make Believe? They're like, you're literally lying. I'm like, I know I'm lying. They're like, why did you believe it? I love to do it when I'm bored. I really do. Be like, Punta Cana's calling and they want me to do an exclusive event there. And they're like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, no. How would Punta Cana call me? I also make them sit and listen to the YouTube tarot card readers with me, like where you pick a pile. The girls that know, like the girls that are like, oh, Livy's doing a pick a pile, but I will make my friends and we'll both pick a pile and we'll listen. And I like make them weigh in. I'm like, okay, so what part of my life do you think she's talking about? Like, what do you think? And we have a deep dive on the YouTube tarot card readers. Speaking of tarot cards, I recently started reading theirs, but I'm new to it, so I'll be like, I feel like this card is saying block your ex because you keep texting and bitch and we all know it. But like we have been doing weekly tarot card things and I love reading their birth charts, the astrology. Those are just some weird things I do to my friends.
Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit when my family goes on vacation? My aunt's retiring, so she made plans to go on a 3-day stay to Hawaii and back on a cruise. The entire family made plans for weeks to go, but nobody mentioned it to me. They made accommodations, bought tickets, everything. Finally, it's a week away and I bring it up to my family at our parents' house about how I hope she has fun and should I get her a gift. I knew about the cruise, but I just thought her adult children were going. Then my sister says, yeah, grab her something, we'll give it to her on the cruise. This was the first I was hearing about all of them going, and they said they assumed I was staying to watch the babies for them.
What?
Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit while my family goes on vacation? I feel they did it so I'd be the only person not going and they could force all the kids on me. I told them I still had time to make accommodations and come too and I would like to go. I took the time off and then my cousin who was coordinating the whole thing told me there was no space left, but that I was welcome to find my own accommodations to fly out and hang out with them. But since everybody planned on me taking care of the kids, I'd need to find childcare first. I told her nobody even discussed that with me and nobody replied. So me and my family decided to take our own vacation. Of course, when they came to try to drop off their kids, they were furious and said multiple people had to drop out of the trip. Am I the asshole for not serving alcohol at my baby's first birthday? My baby turned 1 last week and we planned a little party for him last weekend. We were only supposed to have one party with both sides of the family, but my sister-in-law and her husband live far away and postponed their visit for a week. So we had a party with my side of the family, which was my mom, my 2 siblings, and their partners last week, and another party yesterday with my husband's side of the family, which consisted of his mom, my sister-in-law, and her husband. As you can see, it was 2 very small gatherings. Basically, both times we did the same thing, a meal, a cake, and they gave gifts to the baby. I'm breastfeeding, so I didn't think about alcohol at all, but I guess they did. Am I the asshole for not serving alcohol at my baby's first birthday party? I thought the party with my in-laws went well until my mother-in-law the next morning texted me asking why I didn't serve alcohol. It seems my sister-in-law is very upset because of me because she thinks I was cheap when they came all the way to see us and bring gifts for our baby. And his mother-in-law said it was poor taste to neglect my guests. My husband was the one who planned the second party and bought the sodas and juice because that's what he wanted to buy. Not serving alcohol for a party is rare and kind of weird here, but my family didn't say anything about it. So we just did the same thing for the second party. My husband told his mom if he doesn't like the way that we host, they don't have to come next time. Am I the asshole for telling my best friend his girlfriend is disgusting? I, 22 female, have been friends with Danny, 22 male, since high school. He recently moved in with his girlfriend
to up her income. A lot of jobs that if you get a full-time job with a good company, they'll pay for you for your extended education. I hope a lot of people know that. Like, they will... a good sized company will pay you to get higher education. You don't have to go do it yourself and then get another job. I feel like I don't want to wait until I'm 45 when the debt might be paid off to have children. I don't want to put my life on hold in this way, but I also love her a lot. We've talked a lot about this and about her plan to pay it down, etc. It now feels like my options are either accept that this is reality and it will be many years before she's free of this debt, or end the relationship.
My sister had a miscarriage 5 years ago, and she has been unable to bear a child since then, and I know this is causing a strain on her marriage. Now, my sister is my best friend and we don't keep secrets from each other. I am 15 years old and I just finished junior high. Now, I made some bad decisions a few months ago and got pregnant. I knew right away I didn't want to keep the baby, so I didn't even bother telling the guy who impregnated me. And the only person I told about this was my sister. I told her I didn't want to keep the baby, but she told me babies are a gift from God, so I should think twice before I make my decision. But I knew I was too young to bear a child. I had a lot of things I wanted to achieve before I even think of giving birth. So I still insisted I didn't want to keep the baby. Now, later that evening, I received a call from my sister and she said she had come up with a solution. She wanted me to give birth so that she can adopt my baby and then I can do whatever I wanted to do with my life. Now, after thinking about this, I realized I was not okay with this. I didn't want to wait a whole year before I go back to school. I was very small and tiny and I felt my body was not ready to bear a child. After all, I was only 15 years old. So I told my sister I just didn't want to go through with the pregnancy. And I thought she would understand, but she got very angry. She told me she had already told her husband and they had both agreed to keep the child. And I felt like she had betrayed my confidence. She didn't have any right to tell her husband something I told her in secret. She broke down in tears and told me her husband might leave her this time around if I refused. And I really don't want to go through with this pregnancy. And I really regret telling her about it. When I still refused, she told my mom about it. Fortunately, my mom is cool and she wants me to do what I think is right for me. I have an appointment at the clinic in 2 weeks' time to take it out. And my sister has stopped talking to me. And I received a call from her yesterday saying I might be the only chance she has at having a child. She said I should stop being selfish and to think of someone else for once in my life. I miss her and I feel so drained and I feel like I've lost my best friend forever. But I still don't want to keep the baby. Am I an asshole because of this? This follower needs your advice, babes. Please drop some below.